Good evening. Welcome to the live Facebook. We meet again after we had our breakfast show, and of course, I'd like to welcome all our members too for the Trade VSA member, and some of you may have just joined us for the first time. If you have joined us for the first time, please pencil it in there, but I do see some regular names in there, and I do appreciate if you could share this video in your timeline. And just a couple of minutes more before we move on to talk about tonight, a very interesting topic. Now, of course, as usual, any question that you have pertaining to the stock market and how I see it, I hope that I'm able to answer you. And in the past, we felt that a lot of our feedback and our educational material has been beneficial to you all, and to ensure that you really benefit from it, do give us a comment below, and happy to do that, and we really appreciate and get going with it. We have, all right, this is some of our previous talk that we have here. Let me just delete this comment. Okay, and we can really go on to our talk this. All right, thank you for coming, and let's get started. The disclaimer for our live FB. Welcome to the live Facebook, right? It's the 16th of November, just at the eve of our general election, and we all know the general election date is the November 19th, which is actually this Saturday, and because of that we are getting holiday, so our Friday program will not be held, which is our breakfast show, so we probably continue on Monday as the market open. That's the 22nd of November, which is a Monday, and usually the result, if you can remember, in 2018, which was a very volatile market as such, the incoming Prime Minister at that time was Dr. Mahathir. He actually declared a 3-day holiday just to settle things, and of course eventually the market did get lower, but eventually we will look at some of those pertaining conditions that we have and see whether this post general election 15 result will be very, very similar to what we have seen so far in here. So let's get on to what we have for tonight, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel in here, and for all our talk that we are doing right now, it's part of our continuation of education, so make sure you follow us again. On next week on the 23rd is how to prepare for the December market rally that we have so far in here. Now, of course, many of you would have been really thinking, and this is really in your mind, it's, you know, the general election 15 is on this Saturday, and I'll be going back, but should I be holding some of these stocks? Now, of course, some of you who have not been following me will probably be figuring out, hey, maybe it's better for me to really get rid of the position that I have, and maybe not to do that. Or some of you are really selling your rubber glove, as you have seen, the nice rubber glove stocks, which also our senior trainer Zach also posts on the Facebook. And finally, the red pentagon for the top glove is here. Maybe it's about time some of you take that profit away in here. And of course, for those of you who are more prepared, has a discipline, has some sort of system in here, and if you're looking for some new ideas and going forward what is likely to happen for the general election 15 result, you are in the right place. But at the same time, the recession 2023 continue to hover into many people's mind, and a lot of them really are thinking, what is a better way to be prepared for the post general election result that we are seeing in here. So I'm just going to give you my best analysis based on my past experience, and also based on the insights that you will usually get from the VSA 360, and I do think that many of them have been very, very profitable, as well as insightful, that will put you in a very, very good position, so going forward in there. Okay, so if you have any questions, so let's get on to what we have for you tonight. All right, so first thing first, we're going to be looking at the agenda tonight. The Post GE15 result preparation. What is the things that you do? Want to know what's the impact going forward? I will give you some of the past historical references and past years, the impact of general election, and what is likely to happen on Monday. Where do we see VFA and possibility of a market rally, a continuation of the market rally. No doubt it may be a discontinued join in here, but we will see where the market is, how it will take off for the month of December. So again, fourth quarter will be under volatility in here, but so far we've been very right. Buy at low, which is the lowest point was in September, right? Remember, September was the lowest point, and then sell high in November again. So those has been our motto. Now question is, how many have you done it? Now of course this is all possible with our green pentagon and red pentagon, which many of you are very, very familiar right now in here. General election 15, ladies and gentlemen, is here, and let's go out and vote this coming Saturday in here, and make sure if you get to your destination and be safe all together. All right, of course our VSA 360 is something that we've been very proud of with our new features such as our visual trading plan, stock alert notification, and also risk to reward ratio. Now of course this was one of the earlier GE15 poser. When it first started off, the dissolution date was 1406. So let me just bring up my laser pointer here. 1406, and then we hit the 1448, which is this evening closing, all right, close to it closing, and the market is up 2.9%. Not too bad, not too bad. And if you look back in many of the GE, it hardly moved, except for GE12, it actually dropped. Then the question this coming Monday, what do you think? Ladies and gentlemen, those of you who are listening tonight, do you foresee the market going up or going down? Give me your thoughts. Pencil those in the comment section in here. I would like to see some of our member in here give us a comment whether the market, you can guess whether it goes up or it goes down. We have seen fair bit of people coming in, and so we really want to know whether what you think about that in there. Don't be shy, pencil those in there, and we would like to know more about your thoughts in here. And of course we will also calculate the eventual post GE, which could be a month, but take note, whatever the case is, we will still get the month of December, right? Okay, we have Ellen is down. All right, great, thank you Ellen, Ichimoku Ellen in here. And also I will give you my best prediction, all right, and see how we go from there. All right, let's go on to the slide in here for the GE15. So one thing which is very prevalent, we have the incoming since the 19th. The last update, we have 19th of October. We have foreign funds really coming in, which is where we started our talk. Now the last reference in here is the October talk that we did on the 19th of October. So a lot of things I'll be talking tonight is reference to that. If you've not seen it, check out the video that I've done. It's on YouTube in there, so you can follow. So from the 19th of October, we have a stream of, really inflow of foreign funds, which you can get it from the VSA 360, and that has caused the market to go up. Of course, you can see every outflow is consistently comes with market going down. So keep that in mind. You can see here. So that's how you want to be thinking of, right? So right now we have seen yesterday or the day before, the last 3 days since the market moving up, the market is getting down. And of course, my first clue to you, I think many of you have known, is if the foreign fund, just like what you see right now, is doing outflow, then they are giving you simple clues, right? Which means they don't want to be even in this market. So the net outflow, they are leaving the KLCI, so that would be pretense of many of us who are retailer stay away from the market in here. Not until we see more foreign funds coming in here, but right now we have one occasion of a foreign fund flow, so we have to see tomorrow. So make sure you log into the VSA 360 to check out this and to see whether the foreign fund will move up next in here. All right, so that is the market that we are looking right now. And right now they are expecting uncertainty because the new trend is definitely pointing to the downside in here. So the question is always, do we get more consecutive down flow, all right, down outflow, then likelihood the market's going to go further down more. But the signs are here, all right, the signs are here, so no surprises. Now if you look back on the last slide that I have on the 19th October, which is the last forecast, we were talking about KLCI turning green pentagon, which was very important. At that time we said that buy in September, which was one of the lowest point, and buy in September. And the market did peak slightly lower to 1360. That was the lowest, right? It did turn green pentagon. And if you have followed the green pentagon, which many of you, our members in here, use the green pentagon as a guideline to turn in. And the market, as I said before, will rally to 1480 to 1500. All right. Now, of course, going back to the same chart, our forecast was pretty spot on, I have to say, pretty spot on. We got the timing at that time was 19th of October, as I said before, which is the last month of 1450, event at a high of 1480, just touch 1480. I was hoping it can actually test the 1500, which it could, but unfortunately you have seen the last 3 days we have seen the net outflow, and then we have 3 down bar, right? 3 down bar, and of course of the public holiday which was declared by the caretaker Prime Minister. So Friday is a holiday to ensure all of us, including you and me, can arrive safely to our polling station and do our duty as the Malaysian citizen to cast our vote. And then we will wait until probably next morning as they are counting the votes until the Sunday morning. I still remember that we could hardly sleep at that time. So very similar. It's going to be this. Then come Monday is what will be the result, right? So you can see from here onwards, tomorrow is going to be more of a sideways market, depending. Right now, looking at the Dow Jones futures, it's not moving up or down, so it's yet to be seen. Probably it's going to be probably very muted. More important is the foreign funds. What are the foreign funds doing? If the foreign funds are leaving and they're getting out, then we are likely to see those issues in mind. Now, of course, 3 possible scenarios, all right, just like any other market. So keep in mind, it can go up, down, or sideways, all right? So just wait for it to the end of the talk and I'll give you my best prediction. Of course, I'll try my certainly very best, my conclusion. And of course, then the following week I'll come back and look at it, whether we are spot on or not, right? So this is always the 3 possibility outcome that we can get: up, down, and sideways. That's all the market can do. And sometimes this seems to amaze me after being in the market for more than 20 years. And sometimes we're still scratching whether this is still possible despite what we have seen in the market. All right, now, of course, let's cut down some of the basic that you'll see. There is 220 seats. We need 1112. Keep in mind for the major majority. So if you're anything more than 112, less than the 2/3, then there will be just simple majority in here, right? So those are the what in stake. Now, for those of you staying in Selangor, the Selangor government did not dissolve, so we did not vote for the Adun. So we're just more for the parliamentary seat by Impera and other states where the local state assembly has been dissolved. So you get a lot of Adun in here. Now, leading to general election 15, we have many, just like Ramli said, we have many choices. You can vote for Pakatan, you can vote for Barisan Nasional, you can vote for Perikatan Nasional, you can vote for those in Sarawak or for GPS and GRS, PNB and Independent also. Then Barisan is also moved over to from the East Malaysia, they move over to West Malaysia. Or those of you who are in the Ampang, Ong Tiket is polling, so-called under the Barisan umbrella in here. GTA will be Mahathir, which is more in the Langkawi place. Then we have Muda under Syed Shadid and also Barisan Nasional in here. So these are what we have seen so far. So general election 15 will be quite interesting depending on the night. So this is some of the so-called basic that you need. Compared to US, you just have 2 colors, red and blue, red for the Republican and blue for the Democrats, okay, in here. So the 9 political parties, some of the people that we have seen, Anwar, Muhyiddin, Ismail, these are the incumbent. The incumbent are Ismail Sabri. Then you got Zuraida and Mahathir, Wong Soon Kong, the PSB. Then you also have the Abang Johari under PBS, which is the big Taiko BPS and also GRS. These are the Sarawak one. And Shafi'i Amdan will be from the Sabah camp. So those are friendly to the Pakatan Harapan in here. So those are the breakdown, and many of you may have seen some of these members that we have. So these are just in the manner in here. Now again, 3 possible outcomes. Just going to go straight to it, and what I think to it. I may be wrong, but hopefully these will give you some sort of an outcome. I do hope that what do the listener think on the coming Monday? Who do you think will win? Just type in there. Is it Pakatan or is it BN? Is it PMS? Come on, everybody. Let's pencil those in there. I want to see what you guys think in here. Or is it going to be a hung parliament, right? Come on, pencil those in your comment section, and let's see how this government in there. You don't need to be right? Don't be shy. I want to see some participation in here. It's kind of boring to talk when there are no reply. So come on, people. Those of you listening in here, yes, thank you. Go. We have first one, Pakatan. Good. All right. Any more? Okay. Minority hung parliament. Joseph, makes sense also. Good. Keep it coming. Keep it coming. And it's good to gauge some of our audience tonight. What do you think of it? Hung parliament. Oh, that's good one. There's already 2 hung parliament. Another hung parliament also. Wow, if it's a hung parliament, that is going to be a referee. So if it's a hung parliament coming Monday, yes, I think Amel is always true, wanted political stability and prosperity, but still, it's going to be a 3 outcome, minority government, majority government in here. Thank you for your comment. All right, now do take note. Sometimes when we think the market, it is just like the one that's just concluded about 2 weeks ago was the US midterm election, which I did cover 2 weeks ago, the 2022. Now, the 2022 midterm election, everybody was saying that the Republican will have the red wave. I mean, sapu everything lah, right? Sapu everything, but instead, they did not. It was beyond everybody's expectation. So tonight, I do see maybe more than 60% of the audience who is listening now are talking about hung parliament and also minority, but it may be a minority or maybe a majority. We don't know, right? It's going to be quite interesting to see the outcome of what's going to be happening on this GE15 so far, right? And of course, majority government, if you do get any majority government, whether it is Barisan or Pakatan, the market's likely to rally. Why? Just like what happened to the US midterm election that night when they were expecting, right? Remember, the stock market always moves towards the expectation of everybody else. So if they expect a majority government that will govern come Monday, then there is significant stability and prosperity. So the stock market is going to move up. And I'm going to tell you likelihood where the market will likely move. But also, sorry, let me just get into this again. And of course, if it's a minority government, depending which side, right, it can be Pakatan, it can be BN, then likelihood the market will move sideways because there will be a lot of jostling, just like what we see also in the UK Parliament when the Liz Truss after 42 days or 44 days have to leave. That put a lot of uncertainty in the market, and worse is hung parliament. So I better move aside. You can see hung parliament, that's where the market is likely to gap down because like I said before, foreign funds already started to leave maybe yesterday. So we have to see tonight where is the foreign funds likely to go. So those are sort of the kind of scenario that we are having right now. Hung parliament, we really don't know. So but I will show you what the punters is saying, okay, in my next slide too. Now, of course, if you look back at GE2013, just before the announcement, market was up 4.5%, and then after the election, which is 5th of May, the market was up 2.5%, and that's about it. All right. The US market at that time, now the reason why I'm bringing is that whether we, the KLSE market, take a cue from the US market. The US market was up 3.6% during the same time. So generally after the election, right? It will just kind of follow whoever the current catalyst at that time. In this case, usually is the US market. On the G14, which is the last one that we have, you can see the market was down, right, coming to the polling dates, down 2.7%. But of course, this is where the market gaps down, right? The market gap down, it was supposed to, after the market was suspended for 3 days, it gapped down because we have the incumbent losing. We have the Pakatan, and right now it will be the same thing too. So I would also expect if the incumbent win, the market will likely to gap down because there is still a lot of uncertainty what's going to be happening here. But eventually the market will stabilize and then will follow. But remember, in 2018 we also have the what we call the trade war between the US, and we've also been dragged down by that. But subsequently comes in the month of August, we did recover in here. So the US Dow Jones was unchanged at the same time, and it did move higher after the GE15. So bottom line is what we're trying to say. The US midterm election, which we are having, it's kind of moving up. It will not have any influence in the very short term, which means the next week, all right, next week, if the US were to go higher, right, of course, were to go higher, the influence is going to be very small, right? But subsequently, maybe a month later down the road, it will revert back. That's how you see the market works. Okay? So keep in mind. So which means on Monday and Tuesday, when the market reopen, it's going to be just, focusing a lot on the analysts and what people are talking about, and foreign funds flows, of course. The delay of the government formation, which is also important, and because right now any catalyst is just going to be on the back, because all these are going to be very knee-jerk election. Now come November 22nd, the November 22nd, which is also good, we won't be seeing a lot of kata, no more kata. It's going to be either the party itself that move over. So it's going to be taking a bit of time of the government formation in here, and right now a lot of the ceramah, if you've been listening a lot, been raining, so there are not many people able to go, so we're able to catch it on YouTube or on live Facebook, like pretty much you're doing it tonight. So that's the way we've been doing it. So why this General Election 15 outcome is very interesting. First, there is actually a four-way battle. Okay, Pakatan, PN, BN, and GTA. Pretty much GTA, which is the Gabungan, not really in the picture. That's the Mahathir camp. Then you have the BN camp, which is the Zahid camp. Perikatan is the Muhyiddin camp. Then the Pakatan is the Anwar camp. So one Malay vote is pretty much split out in four ways right now. All right, and then voting become more accessible. There were some extra hours of voting, and right now the continued rain has been maybe a play into how is it, are they going to extend or not. So we do not really know what's happening, but they also forecast this coming Saturday will be rain. Anti-hopping party law is effective, as I said before, and then we have the Undi 18. So this is the big take, and that's what I think Invoke, which is under Rafizi Ramli, are very optimistic. I have to say, very optimistic that they will sapu all, but I don't think so really. I kind of feel that it'll be nice, of course, but what you all can see is that estimated 5.8 million or 27% of the vote of 21 million will come from age of 18. So that's why you see this time a lot of ceramah are done over on YouTube, because they want to appeal to those 18 and above, the Undi 18. Okay, so that will be a change in terms of the voting demographics. And keep in mind, in the US midterm election, they were expecting the Republican to win, but that time, just to share a bit, the young voters, just like our Undi 18, many of them vote Democrat. They are voting for the progressive, they are voting for the liberal. So very similar, they are also hoping these 18 to 25, 23 will also vote the Pakatan, with the exception maybe of the East Coast side, where they're likely to go for PAS as their alternative. So that will be the game changer. So we have to see on that night what is likely going to be for that night. So this is the slide that maybe let me just change the arrangement in here, then you can see better, right? And that way you're able to see. Some of you may have seen this, some of you are not, but let's take a look at it. Now this is the so-called horse forecast punter that you will find it in a lot of the stock chatting room, and this is up to morning 6 a.m. They did a lot of so-called polling, and one of the one that are really interested is Invoke. Okay, the one I paid attention was Invoke. Invoke got it right in the 2018. So there are other scholar or academicians, which you can find it on Malaysia Kini, they don't think that Harapan will get away with so easy, which is 105. And now you all remember, how many seats do you all need? Okay, how many seats do you all need? You all need 122. Okay, 122 seats. Even US Embassy also get into this also. Oxford Analytica 92. Let's take a look at this. The low side will be 84. Am I correct? 84 seats. All right. The low side for Perikatan is 43. High side is about 50 seats. Okay. And Barisan National, the low side they are doing is 35. Invoke is doing 39. And the high side will be 42 seats. Okay. Merdeka, you got 98. So everyone is really expecting the red wave. All right. This is the red wave. But it may not be. You may see a blue, or I think this one is black color. I think it's more like a black Perikatan, right? And maybe that kind of way. So let me know what you think. Because this is the one that, all right. So there is also a question inside there. I also put in, what's your advice? I will get down to in here. So it always comes to this. How much of this is actually true? Just like, remember, a lot of the polls that they did was between 4% or 3% margin of different of error for the US midterm election, where they were expecting Republican to win, and instead you got the Democrat coming in. Then they took the Senate, the Senate, which is the upper chamber, and it was kind of very surprised, and they just lost out on the House. I think just a couple hours ago in here. So just keep this in mind. You should take a photo of it and see what is likely to be when we have our result on the Sunday morning. All right, it will be interesting. So it's a bit like, you know, once every 4 years, better than World Cup. I hope you enjoy what you are seeing in here. Now, of course, let's look at some of the stocks we were talking about. Previously was the UMNO stocks and MYEG, but there is a pattern. So many of you may not. Let's take a look at them. Right, of course, lot of red losing counter, right? The big Bursa, and this is on our VSA 360. You can see many of these are actually less than 10 cents. They are really penny shares, and if you see pink and red, many of them don't do so well, with the exception maybe of Prima Media, which is a TV Tiga, and the rest, most of them are really in the red zone here. Now, of course, in our VSA 360, we have more of this in here, but you can also notice many of them previously were green pentagon, started to turn red pentagon actually beginning of I think maybe Thursday or Friday last week. You can see all the green pentagon they have turned. For example, you notice Star turn was red pentagon, just turned green pentagon on the 14th, one of the really unique one. Then the MYG turn on the 8th, turn on the 7th, turn on the 10th, which is this week in here. Of course, those are the energy stocks, which also align with the overall slight bullishness that we've seen in the energy sector. MRCB just turned on the 9th, but most of them are really not going anywhere. Now, of course, if you look into it, when we did our talk on the 19th October, again from our VSA 360 in here, we were expecting for the month of October to recover. All right, that was on the 19th, and then November month we expect it to be negative. So all said, it's pretty true, right? We got October to recover with a 4.7% here for the month of October, right? And so far November is minus 0.67. So in line with our seasonal trend, right? The market is likely to point downwards. Okay, so if you look at the November every year, it's likely to point downwards. So which also makes sense, right? If the market were to point downwards going into the remaining 10 days, then you got the very nice December rally. If we have something like a minus 3%, and I'm going to share with you why 3% later on, the losses for November. Now it's minus 0.6. Then you probably have a nice come back on around 5-6% in December. So look to do some sort of buying at the end of this month. All right, I think that's also important for your take. Now let's look at some of the popular GE15 stock, more in VSA 360, like MYG, Destiny, Datasonic, Chaya Mata. Okay, those are tied to the Sarawak political group, MRCB, and so forth. All right. Now the first one is MYEG. So if you look back, MYEG This was on the so-called 19th of October, because that's the last time we actually took it, so that will be our reference point. So you see 19th of October, which is this chart here, it did go higher eventually, but subsequently the last 5 days the sell-off began, right? And that also concurred together with the foreign funds leaving. So it is no coincidence why we see this. So first one, we see a sell-off on MYEG. Second one, Destiny, also sell-off, right? It did break higher, no doubt about it. It broke higher, allowed the smart money to take some profit and then break down. So a lot of people were kind of hoping to hold that stock going into this week. But unfortunately, we have only one push up and then the next 3 days just sort of drop. So as I said before earlier on, you've been hearing some of my advice is that take very small profit, all right? Don't hold over the long weekend. So that's one advice I want to give to everybody. If you have any position, clear all of them out. Started to clear. Those smart ones were already clear last week, some of them this week if you have to, because don't be too optimistic. I do see the market, like what you say, if it's a hang parliament that many of you have penciled in there, thank you for doing that. Then you will see this market likely to gap down. Then next one is the data sonic. You can see also we have the sell-off in the last week. All right, last week, and then today also sell off, but with the exception that it actually went higher. So you can see back, it was 49 cents, now it's 47 cents, but it did go to somewhere around 54 cents, right? 54 cents, and then that's where the red pentagon came out and then sort of turnwards. So sometimes, when you see a lot of these upthrusts, right, it's a foretell sign that the sign of weakness are here. Take some profit in here. Next one is Cahaya Mata Sarawak in here. This is the only exception that will do well, because I do think that these are linked to GPS. I could be wrong in here, and they are likely to hold the position. Even DAP has mentioned they are unlikely to work together with GPS, and GPS has been an ally of Barisan Nasional. So that's why you can see this thing gangbang and break up over the last 2 weeks, which we at the time where we were talking about it was 84.5 cents, and now it's 94.5 cents. So that's a nice, almost just short of 10% up movement. MLCB also same thing, taper off or starting to break down. There's no movement in here. Again, some of these are very low, below my personal favorite preference, which is the 47 cents. So they don't kind of do very well in here. KUB, which is another link, KUB, which is another link stock, and also you can see at 55.5 cents. And towards the last week also sell down, so KUB. So we have seen one pattern. Number one, all right, first, a lot of the stocks, since we talk about all made a new high. They peak. After they peak, they will sell, showing and displaying sign of weaknesses, and then the last week started to sell off, aligned with also foreign funds. On the other side, we see a difference, right? The last 1 week or 1.5 weeks, those counter, the Anwar counter, the ASP, Advanced Synergy Berhad, all started to make up the breakout in here. They didn't do anything, right? So someone may have known something. Now, is this the leading indicator sign that Pakatan Harapan will win? Right? Just like the survey that we have, because the stock market can be there. So what do you think? What do you think? Do you think that with what I've just shown you, ASB, another counter just break out in the last week, the Anwar counter, right? And then of course Anwar one is always tied back to Mui property, okay? Also break out in the last week, all right, from the Anwar now. Now, is this another sign that those tied to the incumbent, the Barisan Nasional, and Perikatan may have trouble securing those seats this weekend, and Anwar are doing well? Is the stock market, these counter, ASB, Mui Property versus MRCB, Data Sonic, could be. What do you think? Share your thoughts on the comment below, right? Will this counter give us an indicating sign? Interesting, all right? Don't you say so? If I'm doing a good job, give me a thumbs up, and I hope that some of these facts will be kind of interesting to you. Now, of course, in the Edge, there were a lot of other shares in here, which is also linked to the Barisan Nasional or the incumbent party in here, and many of them either no change. One of them is Matang. Even this sign you can see it's actually look like MCA, right? Matang here. All right, and no change. I didn't go there. Star actually hit higher and finally also sell off too. You can see it hit about 30 cents. At that time it was 30.5 cents. And then subsequently, actually, it fell back to 29 cents. Star Paper didn't do so well. Pekka is another one. Started with 84 and still end back 84. Hardly moved at all. And Pekka is one of those company that has done pretty well actually, but it's still linked to the incumbent Barisan National in here. So you can see many of the shares that I've talked about, just a sample of them. Only Cahaya Mata Sarawak did well, whereas there are only two counters that link to Anwar, both also jalan. All right, so what is that going to be? What do you think? All right, pencil doing here. So three possible scenarios as I get down to the, so probably very close to the end of our presentation in here is the outlook, the up direction, the down direction, as well as a sideways. Now, if the KLCI go through what we see, a hung parliament or a lot of uncertainty, or maybe even incumbent getting a bigger majority than they should, right? The market may actually open below 1400 because right now it's 1446. All right, that will be around 6 to 8% downwards. So the gap down, which also in line with what I talked about, the the November bearish market outlook here. All right, and then next one, if the incumbents secure a minority, government, then you see the market almost unchanged, which is pretty much around here, 1415 to 1440 in here. It can go up by 10 points or 20 points right in here. And then finally is the majority government. Okay, the majority government where the market actually gaps up. Now this is where one party or they get very close to major government, a majority government. Then you can see that market was still going to gap up to the last high, 1480, 49. It may be a runaway gap, right, which is open about 3 to 4%. So those are my best prediction for this coming Monday. All right, let's see. And again, those of you can join me on Monday, the morning breakfast show. Of course, these are going to be probably the end of the day, right? And we will see also going to the week how this thing is likely to be. So three scenario in here, either we're going to go up, sideways, or downwards. All right, so keep that in mind. So in summary, right, I'm going to get down to summary. I want to keep it a bit short in here. If the main party incumbent want all the large cap shares, which is actually favored by foreign fund, all the G15 stocks will actually rise. If the main incumbent loses, a lot of the G stocks, the UMNO stock will fall, and many, even the blue chip stock will also fall. All right, then depending whether it's minority or majority government in here, it's always that kind of uncertainty. So this is also a good time for you to go and collect all the high rating smart Robie FA stocks. We actually pay good dividend. Okay, now the question and also the wise is that if you have any short-term position, don't hold it, but the longer term is fine, because the longer term you take into the December rally, the January one possible roll-off, and perhaps we have the de-escalation of the Russian-Ukraine war and the better reduction of the inflation rate. We have seen inflation rate has started to come down only in the US side, but not on the UK side in here. Take smaller profit, you have to cut loss if you have to. So the key point is Anwar counters are doing much better than the BN counters so far, right? To my surprise in here, I would thought that it would be the other way around, but usually market tend to do the other way around. All right, and like I say, so again, part of our education program is always want to bring out the best from all our members. Some of you listening, our current members in here, we thank you for your support in here. And just to share you, to encourage our current member to join our 100-day Trade VSA onboarding orientation, we started this stock trading competition. While you are learning, you can also practice them. All right, at the end of it, everyone's a winner. The big leader that you see in here just after one day managed to, of course this is all paper trading, there's no real money in here. The condition is very different from a real trading, but what we try to do is to create a condition to make trading very easy to learn, where you can make all the mistakes And then you can also learn from others, like the top leaders who made about close to about 4 to 5% per day. This is only one day, end of the day. I was kind of very surprised to it. They took it off very well. Nick, Fazil, Ahmad, Vince are doing pretty well in here. I cut some losses. You could see, right? I was about 1,000 ringgit profit. I'm back to 146 ringgit in here. And what we do in this environment is to encourage everybody, those with zero experience, the more senior members in here, to trade and do sharing in our Telegram chat room. And of course, there were prizes for our winners at the end of the trade. So this something that we're very proud to talk about, and this is something where we also train many of you who are shorter terms one to think about long term, and the long term to think about short term. Does it make sense? If it does, give us a thumbs up so we know that these are the lessons. We can talk a lot about GE15. At the end of the day, it's always boiled down to doing it and doing it regularly. So that's why we want to make sure you have some successes in paper trading, incorporating the right trading plan, that if you have not done it, this is the best time to do it. So you do it differently. And also having all our coaches watching you in our Telegram. I think that's the key message, and that's how we are able to do it. So allocate your education now. Be aware that each and every one of us are quite different. So we do a profiling members for each to see whether you are kind of fit into what kind of strategy you want to use, but primarily also focus on a shorter term trading. As we can see, the market tend to be very volatile, and realign your sectors, very important, with our tools VSA 360 to the year end using hot and trending sector, again guided by our coach. Now, of course, in summary, what I want to share with you, this current market condition, you need to be patient. For those long term, it's going to be coming back. But for the short term position, exit them, right? I can say exit, but a lot of people don't do it, right? They'll just carry it and then never mind, I already lost so much money. So it's okay. So focus on the post outcome, which I've talked about. If the market were to gap down, how many percent? If you gap, how many percent? And using the green pentagon, as your first arrival advantages, all right? Some of the older stocks that you don't have, get rid of it, right? If you're not going to get rid of any stocks, reason is because you felt that you are betrayed by the stock market. And it happens to a lot of people. Not until you adopt the right strategy, right? Use our smart money method using the green pentagon in here. Now, my final slide is sort of sum up, is going to be the year-end bear market obstacle that we are seeing right now. Now, of course, the inflation, which is everyone's talking about, which we continue to update you in our podcast every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Inflation is coming down. The CPI figure came to 7.7, which they release every mid-month. So the one that came out on the 14th was 7.7. They were expecting 7.9. But going forward, they do expect the inflation to be fairly controlled and in a reduction manner. So as such, that interest rate, they will likely to tone down. So that's why you're seeing a lot of the technology stock started to move up. And they even talk about Warren Buffett finally making a statement that he bought Taiwan Semiconductor, and that a lot of the semicon stocks has moved up, right? And of course, Warren Buffett buying semiconductor is always something very, very anti-value lah. Why I say that is because he never liked technology, but having said that, he's into technology. He bought it at a very good price, I think around the 80, 70, 60 over one of his filing in here. That leads to the third point, which is the uncertainty recession. Now, a lot of people are talking about recession, right? These are people that they keep recycling a lot of people. I don't really see it. The last quarter that came out, they're able to overcome it. Because these are some people who are very bearish in the market. Of course, if we listen to some of them, they will always look at the chart. Remember, chart don't lie. People lie. And that's why we always say, right? Continue to follow those charts. And one of the ways to do that is no other than our masterclass, which we continue to promote and encourage all of you, especially the public, a member, to re-attend back our foundation classes. So this is also part of it. You can really test out your skill, your knowledge using our tools on the stock trading competition. And you've seen some of the results that we have. 1 day return 4.8%. Of course, that was today actually. So you can see today market wasn't that well. And of course, the trading palm oil future, something we will also talk about on the 3rd of December here, right? And the pullback method, which is from our coach Fu, giving you many good win rates, studying those advanced pattern in here. And also the trading all futures. This is something I felt that has a place. You can go long, you can go short. And we did talk about this in one of our Wednesday talk. Check it out on the YouTube, where we have a very good winning strategy for you this 3rd of December in here. So unlike many other courses, we have the tools, we have the platform for you to try out your new skill, having the coach and with a winning system, right? So we also cover the US market in here, able for you to master the market. So we are a one-stop educational arm with good tools to give you the next generation of system with good analytics and good insights too. All right, so that's all I have for this evening. Thank you for your Google review. For those of you who have done so in here, thank you. We continue to get very good review in here, and also some of the members that we have seen so far. And if you are ready to subscribe to our system, go ahead, especially this coming December month. The insight that you get will probably cover some of the small costs that you'll put in, and not to forget the experience sharing among the members and also the coaches with you in here, giving you a first mover advantage. So now I come to my last slide. Don't forget to join our Telegram chat room for all stock market information in here, and I'm open for questions. If you have any question, we have Maple want to look at the Pelican. All right, we can look at Pelican here. Let's take a look at Pelican. Of course, my take of looking at the stock are pretty simple. All you got to do is look at the Pelican. Very easy, right? Let the profit run, okay? Yep, it's from 25 cents. Let it run, all right? At one point of time, take some profit as you go on, okay? Take note, the market has sort of breathed through below in here. This one is a smart money stocks, okay? Then we got Papa Jacks. Okay, Papa Jack is the same thing. Run your profits, okay? Run your profits in here. Take some partial profits too. As I said before, having said that, very good one here, Maple. Okay, any more stocks, let me know. And really, thank you for your time and thank you for your support, for many of your comments. I really enjoy speaking to you, and I enjoy sharing my knowledge with you. And of course, I will update you on Friday, see how the market is, because Friday is a public holiday, so there won't be any breakfast show. But Monday, I'll be back, and join me at 10:15 to see some of my reading will come true or not. And thank you for your time, and I appreciate your presence in here. Good luck in trading, and travel safely to your polling station in here. So let the right party win, and let's wish for good governance, prosperity, and stability. All right. Thank you. Good night.